Hi, I'm Jess, I'm a makeup artist, and today we're going to be doing an easy tutorial on contouring. All the products that I'll be using today are available to buy on the SweetFaceCosmetics.com website. To start off with, I would suggest using a really light moisturiser. If you moisturise and hydrate your skin, that is going to keep your makeup on for a lot longer. I've already put moisturiser on today, but a really good one to use is one by Simple because it has no nasties in it, and if you've got sensitive skin, it's less likely to give you any irritation. You can actually buy this one for $3.99 on the SweetFaceCosmetics.com website. So that's starting off with your moisturising cream. The next step would be to get a good control shine and primer. The primer is like your base. It's basically going to cover any unevenness in your skin. It's going to be a nice smooth surface to work on for when you apply your foundation. So the one I'm using today is by Sleek Makeup. It is also available on the SweetFaceCosmetics.com website, and this one is available and it's $7.99. So I'm just going to open it. Primers tend to be of a sort of jelly consistency, I would say. I'm not sure if you can see that. So it's not the same consistency as a cream. It's not the same consistency as any other product that I can really relate it to. Primer has its own consistency, and it is very jelly-like. The nice thing about primer, it's very light, it seeps into the skin and you won't be able to feel it. So I'm just going to put some on now. Make sure you cover all of your face on the same way you put a moisturiser on, and it also almost feels like it kind of glides off your skin. You really don't need to put too much on. A little bit does go a long way. Right, so we've prepped the base, and the next step would be your foundation. So I'm going to be using the Sleek Makeup Oil-Free Cream to Powder. I'm using it in shade Bamboo. Just do a little swatch for you. The nice thing about this foundation is it does go on like a cream, so it is very, very light. It glides on. But it does actually dry very quickly, and it's almost got a very light powdery finish, so it doesn't feel really heavy on your skin. Because once you start contouring, you are adding extra layers of makeup and you want it to feel really light and fresh. You can get this from the SweetFaceCosmetics.com website, and this particular one is $7.99. Okay, so I'm just using any standard foundation brush. There's no particular look brand. As long as it's got a flat surface, it gives you a better working area for picking up the foundation. So we're just going to apply. You want to get quite a bit of product onto your brush. You can see. You want to avoid using a sponge where possible, just because brushes will allow you to transfer product over much easier. If you use a sponge, the sponge tends to absorb most of the product and you end up having to use more on your product, and half of it gets lost in the sponge. Plus, sponges don't give such a nice overall coverage. Right, so apply your foundation as you would normally. I normally start with under my eyes. The nice thing about this foundation, it's got a really nice scent. It smells almost like floral. And it has buildable coverage. So depending on what areas you might have, you know, slight worries about, or pigmentation or skin worries or any sensitive areas, you can go over those areas with more foundation, and it will give you a nice even coverage. This foundation is really, really light as well, so it doesn't feel heavy at all. Gives you that nice powdery finish without having to use a powder on top as well. So it's your 2-in-1 really. I'm going to make sure that you blend your foundation right into your neckline. Your makeup does not stop at your jawline. You want to really get it in so that it then becomes seamless and one. Okay. Also, don't be afraid to use your fingers. Your fingers are sort of natural heaters. So if there's any areas you're not sure of, use your fingers. The natural warmth will warm up the product for you and just make it work into your skin that little bit nicer. And give it a little bit more of a natural finish as well. So now we've got all our foundation on. You can see that I've got a really good base. I've worked it in. Don't forget your ears. You don't want foundation line at your ears. You want to make sure it's really covered in. So now that I've done that, I've now done, going back, we've done the moisturiser, then the primer, and now we've put our foundation on. So the next step would be to use a bronzer. So I'm using the Face Contour Kit Pressed Powder and Highlighter in one, and this is $6.49, and you can get this on the SweetFaceCosmetics.com website. This is actually a really good little palette because it probably has everything in there that you need. It's got your bronzer and then it's got your highlighter. The bronzer I'll show you. It is a powder consistency, but again, as you can see, it's very blendable. So if you do go a little bit too crazy or you're a little bit worried that you haven't put enough, you can put more on, or you can also blend it away so it doesn't look as harsh or as obvious on your face. The highlighter is a really nice colour. It's got a nice natural shimmer to it. I've also got another palette which we'll look at in a minute once I've done the bronzing and the highlighting. But to start off with, this is a really good base to start with. So I've just got a contouring brush. Again, it's just any standard brush. There's not a specific brand that I use. What I like about this brush, if you can see, is that it's slightly angled. So it means when you are contouring or applying bronzer, you can be quite accurate about where you're placing it. So that's a really good brush to use. Okay. So I'm going to start with the bronzing part, the dark part. What I would say about contouring, you want it to be as natural as possible. All contouring is basically playing with light and dark, and it's where the natural sunlight falls on your face and where does the shade go and where does the light go. So it's just enhancing what is already naturally there. So for me, because I'm oval faced, you will see that the natural part for me would be here. And if you suck in your cheeks, I will blend it, but I'm making it really obvious so that you can see what I'm talking about. Then the next part would be when you go for a holiday, you're in the sunshine, you always get dark around the hairline. Okay. And then the other part is if down the side of your nose. Okay. And that is it. When it comes to the dark parts, there isn't anything else more to it. So although it looks quite shock factor at the moment, we're going to start blending it. And I've just chosen quite a big fat blusher brush, if you like. Again, no specific brand. You just blend away, keep blending. All I can say to people who are scared of contouring, please don't believe those crazy videos that you see. Blend, blend, and then blend again before you leave the house. Those are my tips for anybody. As you can see, it's starting to disappear, but the colour is still there. It's just not so in your face and so dramatic. So you're using the highlighter just across this area here, this area here. You also want to do down the middle of your nose where light catches, and then here. Now the reason for you use a highlighter is because one, you want to, the highlighter is more of a shimmery sort of powder, so it will naturally reflect light more. And where you've used the bronzer, you need to add something to this area, otherwise it doesn't marry, it doesn't look seamless. And again, you can also use a little bit just here on your Cupid's bow, just to highlight under there for when you put lipstick on. It really does give a nice shimmer above your lips. Now, the next product that I'm going to use is I've got a highlighting palette for precious metals from Sleep Makeup. This again is available from SweetFace Cosmetics and it's $9.99. What I like about this palette is it has 4 different shimmers in there. So it really is quite versatile for any sort of look that you're going for if you're playing with different types of looks. That's the powder one. This one is the cream one. As you can see, it's got quite a strong pigmented highlight to it. Then you've got another cream one. Again, quite strong in colour. And then you've got another one which is quite white. I'm going to use a cream one today. I personally prefer cream highlighters. Powder ones are really good because they're good for touching up. So if you are on the go, I would say that the contouring palette and the highlighting palette are really good to have in your handbag, obviously along with the pressed powder because you can touch up your foundation. But the powder is good to touch up as you go. I think the cream it has a stronger pigment to it, so it's going to be more noticeable on your face. So I'm going to go for this one here, okay? Put some on a brush. Again, any brand brush, it's not anything specific. And you just want to go over these areas here. If you smile, it's like the top of your cheeks. Your natural face, when it's smiled or when you suck in your cheeks, will tell you as a guide where is the right place to place any product, okay? You can put some under the eyebrows as well, and then just on the Cupid's bow. Then I'm just going to use a damp sponge blender and just blend this in so that it really sits into the skin. The highlighter becomes a lot more natural. It's all about slow process, slow steps and building. You want to build up slowly. And then just under the eyebrows. You always want to highlight under the eyebrows. Makes your eyes look a lot bigger. Makes your eyebrows and your arches look a lot more defined. Okay, and that is pretty much it when it comes to contouring. Okay, it's very, very easy, it's very simple. There's no need to overcomplicate it. There's no need to use different colours and you know, there's videos where it's like sort of really dark bronzer and really light concealer. It's very simple, and these are all products that you can use individually or use them together for contouring, so it's multi-use, which is great. You don't want to be buying separate products for things when you can use the products already available on SweetFaceCosmetics.com to complete this look. Thank you very much.